Hi everyone, I'm Nissan, I'm the founder and CEO of Augmedics, and just a background about the company, just a small overview, a short overview about myself and the company. I'm a biomedical engineer. I worked 10 years in the medical device industry in Israel. I'm an Israeli. I started Augmedics in 2014, so we've been working on that for about 6 years now. It started as an Israeli startup, but now we flipped the company. We're now a US-based company, headquarters in Chicago. Right now we have 50 employees, 30 are R&D and manufacturing in Israel, and 20 are commercial people here in Chicago, all across the United States actually. We raised Series Seed and Series A in about $10 million in total. Last round was Series A, closed in 2017. And the lead investor was the AO Invest. It's the AO Foundation VC arm. For those who know who are the AO Foundation, it's the leading organization for orthopedic surgery. Right now we're seeking for $50 million on top of the $10 million bridge that we already closed. So it's going to be a $25 million total round, Series B. The products that we're having is the X-Vision. The X-Vision, we'll talk about it soon. It's an FDA-cleared product, which is the first and the only one, augmented reality surgical navigation system. We have 7 families of patents, and we're planning now to develop more applications as we move forward. Next year, 2021, is going to be the break-even year. We start commercializing the system now, and that's start. So what is the X-Vision? It's basically the first and only surgical navigation system available on the market. It's the next generation of the navigation system, and it can address many applications. We start with spine surgery, but basically it can navigate, one can navigate any surgical procedure that requires high precision, such as joint reconstruction, knee and hips, ENT, cranial surgery, everything that requires high precision. So we're developing the next generation. What is the current navigation systems? All the big companies, Medtronic, Stryker, Nuvasive now has one. 70 Surgical signed a strategic partnership with C-Spine only lately. And BrainLab started that navigation trend for cranial surgery. These are all the current navigation systems. It exists for more than 20 years. These systems provided high accuracy when treating patients, reduce the operating time, and also reduce the X-ray radiation. There's no need to have an X-ray radiation in the OR when you use a navigation system. However, this system costs a lot. It's between $250,000 to $500,000 each system. As you can see, they're bulky, so they take a lot of big footprint in the OR. And to navigate the navigation system, it's not that easy for a surgeon. It requires a tension shift between what the surgeon is seeing the patient in front of him and looking aside on the distant screen to navigate. That's basically how it looks during a spine surgery. In many cases in spine surgery, there is a need to insert screws inside the pedicle, and if a surgeon chooses to use a navigation, then he needs to take his eyes away from the patient and look aside to navigate and to orient the eyes with the hands. Basically, it's a very long process to learn how to use it. It causes a tension shift, as I mentioned, and also line of sight interferes between the cameras and the tracked instruments. These systems are expensive, so not all the hospitals can afford it, and that all brings to a very low adoption rate when using, in spine surgeries. In fact, only 15% of the spine surgeries are now performed with a navigation system, and that's why we start with this market here. Now, I was working in Medtronic. I saw that happening. I was part of the Israeli team who sold the systems. It took a year to sell it, $1 million investment, and then the surgeons are not using that. Are not using the system so often because of the challenges that I just mentioned. So I had a vision that I wanted to bring surgeons superheroes' powers so they can see through the patient's skin and tissue and look straight at the anatomy of the patient and orient their implants very accurately. So that's what I had in mind, and in 2014 I left Medtronic in order to start Augmedics and to do exactly that. I'm going to show you now a video, if we can have the sound. You'll see the initial experience that we had with the X-Vision on cadavers.
X-Vision, it was pretty fancy when I first saw it because it was the first time you could really see three-dimensionally through a phantom or fake spine.
I was pretty surprised at how fast I was able to adopt the techniques with the X-Vision in the short period of time that I used it. Typically what we have to do is we have to look away from where we're working, but this has all of the image-guided information directly in front of you within the goggles that you're wearing while you're placing the instrumentation.
As I turned my head and looked like a normal person would look at a patient, I could actually see the details of this three-dimensional anatomy basically through the patient.
This gives you added confidence, I think, and real-time confidence that you're placing the instrumentation in the correct location, and I think that's really pretty cool.
Imagine if you were driving a vehicle and you have GPS, which is what image guidance is. Would you want the GPS intuitively displayed translucently onto your windshield so that you're still always looking at the road? Or versus what you do now where you're looking at a GPS down on a console or on your phone?
So the X-Vision setup with an optics onlay is really no different than wearing some type of shield, which is often what surgeons do. This was actually lightweight and easy to use and was translucent. You can see through the actual image.
Anything that improves your surgical efficiency in many ways is going to be better.
If we can increase the information we gather, this is all going to lead to efficiency, this is going to lead to better outcomes, and it's going to lead to better safety.
The number one benefit for X-Vision is that you are always looking at the patient. You're never distracted from the patient.
The patient's in the operating room for less time, which means it's safer, and it's also easier for the surgeon.
If we take this technology at face value right now, it's a game changer.
So, as I mentioned, this is the next generation of navigation system. We took all the components of traditional systems and we put it all in a single, very small headset that is fully wireless, untethered to anything, right? Surgeons can work simultaneously together, right? Two surgeons in one patient. It's a personalized headset, so we designed it perfectly to perfectly match the surgeon's head. Transparent lenses, so uninterrupted. Basically, that's how it looks in surgery, in real surgeries in Israel that we, during the clinical trials. See two surgeons work side by side. They both have their own perspective. It's a 3D overlay, as you saw in the video, of the patient's anatomy. We worked many years, and most of the money was spent on that. The surgical tracker that we have developed ourselves is very unique. It's the first of its kind that is mounted on the headset itself. Accuracy is phenomenal, about 1 millimeter accuracy. That's the end-to-end maximum positional error. The mean error is about 0.7. Same for the trajectory angle. It's an FDA-cleared device. We just got the clearance a month ago. The CE is planned for next year. We already signed some strategic partnerships. Many of the big companies want to collaborate with us because it's a device that can easily integrate it into the current devices such as imaging, navigation, microscopes. So everything that involves some visualization, can be upgraded into using our system and will be enhanced with the next generation of navigation. We sell our system on a nominal fee. It's basically a razor blade model. So because we have such a small footprint, the cogs of our system is so small, is so little, so we can sell our system for a fraction of the price of traditional systems. We are aiming to make most of our money from the recurrent use, which are the markers. We already have, as I told you, 20 people in the United States. It's a relatively big commercial team, and we're now spreading all across the United States. We're gonna take aggressive approach. As for the targets of this year, remember that's our first year. We're targeting 140 new surgeon users, 4,400 surgeries performed with our system, $10 million capital revenue, and $4 million of recurrent revenue based on the marker selling. So that's it. That's like the summary here again. and I'll be happy to answer any question. Thank you.